Welcome soon to be returning Mapler. I am Holyfrost, a current player of this very old 2D mushroom game. I've been playing this game for a long time, which enables me to appreciate old Maple and new Maple. To give you a sense, I've been playing since Pirates were released, basically before Big Bang, and just kept playing, sometimes on and off, but currently I'm still playing it. So why am I making this video? Well, it's because I've seen many others try to make a video similar to this one to answer that question. Is MapleStory worth playing in 2022 or whatever year it is? The main problem I have with others is that they have taken the perspective of an old player returning to new Maple. Basically, their answers are very biased towards old Maple versus new Maple, so I don't think that's a fair judgment sort of thing. So the purpose of this video is to change your perspective on how Maple evolved instead of deteriorating like most others have pointed out. I will begin listing the controversial points that old Maplers may have against the new Maple. Number 1. Community is dead. You don't see many people talking in Alcha and Genesis or major towns. You don't see many people at all in training maps or any maps in general. Basically everyone's AFK, no one's really chatting. So the community is dead. But actually the community is very much alive. It's just that the Maple community actually migrated to Discord instead of, in-game chat and whatnot. Basically a lot of modern games do utilize Discord because Discord is a very efficient communication app. You can have your own servers, your own channels, your text channels, your voice channels. You can do all sorts of things on Discord, which makes it more efficient, because in Maple you have to be in the same map, in the same channel, in the same world to actually interact with people, right? It's quite inefficient. Back in the day that could slide because Maple was actually like a glorified social interaction game. Basically you talk to people and you kind of just mindlessly grind. But nowadays in the modern age, you kind of just talked with each other on Discord or whatever while you're grinding different maps. So that's kind of how the community works. But now in order to actually get into like a party or whatever for party content, back in the day you could like just spam JPQ, but now there's not a lot of people on there on that channel or map or whatever to do that party content at the same time. You kind of coordinate on Discord instead with that person to do that party content. So it's kind of changed in that aspect. But yeah, the community is very much alive. You just need to migrate over to Discord sort of thing. But also community wise, starting off in the game and when you're returning, it's best to actually join a guild, and the guild will usually have a Discord, which then you can join the community that way, and yeah, it'll be a good time. Number 2, leveling or the game is too easy. Back in my day, 10 to 30 would have taken a week to achieve. Basically the game XP curve and content has shifted to a different number. I'd say the fair comparison from 10 to 30 back in old Maple could be said from 10 to 220 for current Maple. Basically progression has shifted to bigger numbers, but the game is actually still difficult in terms of grinding out progression. Still a big grind to actually achieve endgame. There's also more challenging content to actually do, as well as achievements like leveling up Legion, because there's many different characters, just so that returning players know that there's many different new characters to create, and Legion is kind of a combination of combining all your levels together. There's many more content to actually do than just grinding to level 200, I guess, and kind of like killing the endgame boss. There's even more bosses to do, so the game is actually, I would say, a lot more expensive now, and it's still as difficult as old Maple with new Maple. So it's just a different grind. Number 3, party play is dead. No one does party quests anymore. I definitely can't argue with this one because party quests are actually dead. Unfortunately, Nexon has not revamped PQs into something that is worthwhile doing, so no one actually does it. I even made a separate video on party quests, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep it short here. However, my title card said party play, not party quests. I'd say party play is still relevant because of the boss content that Maple offers, and that's why most players even actually play the game, because of party bossing, I'd say. But aside from the gear progression, which is actually really good, this also ties in clearing boss content as well with your gear progression. Instead of doing like little tasks and puzzles PQs usually have you do, party bossing engages you and your party in defeating the boss while maneuvering its various mechanics of attack patterns. For a 2D side scroller, I must say the more modern modern bosses in MapleStory is proven to be quite challenging for a lot of players, making it enjoyable clearing with your party and your friends. After endlessly grinding to make your gear better and leveling up, it's a good feeling when you finally clear the next boss in your journey. So that's kind of how Maple works. Number 4. Game is pay to win. The cubing system requires players to pay money for cubes, and there's also Marvel Machine. In truth, this is a free-to-play game. It just has ways for players to spend real money to make their progression faster. There are many players that actually play completely free-to-play and still make very good progress. I think the key is to have good knowledge about the game to actually optimize your gameplay to make steady progression. And Maple is no different. There's a lot of guides that actually help you optimize your journey, but it's up to you to actually make that optimization sort of thing. And there's also like a new server where Nexon released back a couple years. It's actually the reboot server. This is actually a completely free-to-play server. You actually cannot pay to win to actually pay for faster progression sort of thing. In this server, they actually emphasize on solo progression, in that the server doesn't even allow trading between players and within your own account for equipment wise. So there's like a very big emphasis on grinding your gear out for progression. So that's why I like the reboot server. There is no pay to win in the reboot server, but that also could be said for regular servers. You can pay, but you don't have to. You're not obligated to. You just need to obtain that knowledge of how to progress and you'll be fine. A lot of old players kind of feel overwhelmed because there's many upgrade systems. Like there's like a potential system, a star force system, a flaming system, a familiar system. There's so many different systems out there for upgrades and gear progression wise. It could be overwhelming, but there's a lot of guides for that and you can just find them, and you don't have to pay money to progress efficiently in this game. You just need to know what you're doing sort of thing, right? But yeah, I definitely recommend a reboot server for more streamlined progression, more simpler progression if you want to start playing again. But yeah, the game is somewhat pay to win for regular servers, because you do progress a lot faster if you do pay. But long term wise, it's better to be free to play, because you don't want to be cashing out so much money just to get that easy progression, right? Have that knowledge, save a lot of bucks sort of thing. In part, most of my money actually goes to cosmetics to style my characters, unfortunately, but that's how Maple or Nexon gets you, right? Number 5, questing is dead. I can't argue against this point because quests are actually very efficient too, versus just grinding out your levels and for your mesos. But there are mini dungeons that players can do in the earlier levels, which technically counts as questing, but overall questing is quite dead. Like the random quests that you can do with different areas, right? The majority of questing nowadays actually consists of pre-quests where you need to do them in order to unlock certain areas such as Arcane River, or boss entry requirements like Black Haven and Heroes of Maple to unlock like Lotus and Damon. But yeah, pre-quests kind of like questing, but not really, because it's like to unlock certain things, and it's very kind of like a mandatory thing to do, other than the random quests where you can just get EXP and Meso just because you want to do that quest in that certain area sort of thing. I do miss that. It's a shame they don't have that. Hopefully they do bring it back. But yeah, there are expansive storylines with those pre-quests that you kind of do it one time and you're pretty much finished with it forever sort of thing. A lot of people actually don't like those pre-quests because if you do it once, you don't really want to do it again, right? But a lot of times you have to, because you need that area to be unlocked or that boss to be unlocked for your next character sort of thing. But if you're into those story I guess lore wise, Maple wise, there's a lot to be unlocked in expansive storyline. So yeah, I think those are the 5 main points that I want to talk about. I hope I did adequately explain on how new Maple works versus how old Maple worked previously. You can decide for yourself if MapleStory is worth playing in 2022, but I do recommend at least playing to 220 before answering that question, because then you'll kind of get the feel for if it's worth playing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.